Oh, good morning, guys. Just thought I'd zip on and make a quick video about my February Sgc submission. I got to get it in the mail probably tomorrow because I'm leaving for work on Tuesday and I will be gone for a week or so, and they want them by a certain date, and I got to get them down into the States and blah, 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 blah. Whatever. Same normal stuff every month. Uh, no, this is not the video that I was kind of wanting to make this morning, but I got my December sub from with my SGC group, came back on Friday. It was delivered. We even saw the lady fill in the post office, like our group mailbox and stuff, and then we went out for kind of the family. A bunch of kids are sick and stuff, so everybody's home right now, and we went out for a walk to get some fresh air and stuff. And then on the way back, like, yeah, let's hit the box and we'll get Dad's cards and stuff. And the the post office lady left the key to the wrong box for the parcels. She put it in put it in this one and left a key for that one. So we opened the box and it was empty. So I got to try to catch her on Monday, tomorrow, to get my parcel. Otherwise, if I don't catch her Monday, I leave Tuesday and I won't be back for at least another week. And oh my God, I just want my my cards are sitting just on the other side of the cul-de-sac in post office jail right now, and I need to get those things out because it's driving me crazy. Anyway, so this is my regular 4 card submission to SGC, sending them off tomorrow. Regular 4 cards. I think I mentioned it a little while ago. I am switching my. I've switched up my focus. I'm staying away from. Basically, staying away from ultra modern stuff. There's only a few baseball guys that ultra modern that I'm interested in collecting, and it's all the regular guys anyways. It's Ohtani, it's Soto, Acuna, Tatis. It's the regular guys. Kelnick I kind of like, but I'm just, if I'm going to spend money on something, I'm going to spend money on something that I really enjoy, and that's Ken Griffey Jr. and that's Michael Jordan. So you'll see by this order. This is a 1997 Topps Team Timber insert. This was just one of those bid on a few cards from somebody. Being Canadian, it's like you have to. Shipping is always such a monstrous deal. So whenever I find somebody who has a card that's like, yeah, I want that card, you got to search through everything else they have, and you got to find anything else that you might be interested on getting for cheap, just to help bring shipping costs down. So I think there was a different card that I was actually looking for, and then I saw this one. This is kind of neat. Topps did a few of these in, I think, 97 and 98, or 96, 97, 98. There's like about 3 years that they did these Team Timber cards, and they are actually a wooden card. It's probably an incredibly thin piece of wooden laminate or whatever, but then it's got a nice glossy finish to it. And I've seen them before. They crack and things like that. So when this one showed up, it has a bit of a, actually it's flattened out pretty good now. It did have a bit of a bend to it, a curve to it, but it's actually flattened out quite nice. And this thing, when it showed up, I was like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, this thing is in ridiculous shape. Absolutely ridiculous. The surface is perfect. The edges, the corners are perfect. My biggest thing was I thought it was off quite a bit left to right. But this is a card that doesn't have a huge population for anybody on any of the card grading companies. So I actually found a copy of a BGS 9.5 on eBay with 10 centering, and I took measurements of the gap between the Team Timber and the edge here and the edge of the S and here, and this is off a bit. It is on the 10 centering on the BGS. This side was definitely thinner than that gap there. So I kind of measured it out, and I am pretty confident this is a solid 9.5 SGC centering. So that is the grade I gave it, 9.5, basically only because of the centering. I will be a little disappointed if it comes back at 10, but I'm kind of worried too because there's not a whole ton of copies of this card graded. So if it comes back, it could come back pretty easily a 9 if they're looking at, oh no, that's off way too much. It's like, well, is it though? Like, I don't know. The only thing I have to go by is that BGS 9.5, and because it had 10 centering. So my measurements and stuff, with a pair of calipers and everything else, this gives it a 9.5. So that's what I'm really, really hoping for. But frick, it could come back in 9 so easy. We'll have to see. Number 2 is a 1996 Upper Deck Viewpoints. Upper Deck in these years, in like 96 to about 99. Oh my God. The subsets, especially the Michael Jordan subsets that Upper Deck threw out there, was absolutely ridiculous. There are so many Jordan subsets, and they're all like 10 cards, 15, 20 cards. They produced whole small like Michael Jordan sets. Like the Upper Deck was absolutely, well, it's because they own the rights to them. They owned, they still do. They have like these ridiculous contracts with Michael Jordan and LeBron James too, for a bunch of, I don't know how they got them exactly because all they produce now is hockey cards, but so they have tons and tons of these sets, and this is one of those 10 card subsets, and it's VP8, Viewpoints 8. And usually they're super boring. They're just kind of like a whatever. Like they're really not worth anything or anything else like that. This one popped up. It was, somebody else. I was looking at some other Jordan card, and I looked through, and they had 3 or 4 other ones that I decided to bid on. And this one showed up, and just like that Team Timber card, I was like, holy geez. And I actually really like the look of this one. I just like the way it's put together, the black, the red. This side is all a foil, kind of like the foil the Upper Deck put on the Black Diamond cards. And on this side, it's not a die cut, but it's like a peekaboo. They have a cutout here, and everything about this card is just solid. Like, I don't know if you can see how sharp the corners are on this thing. And the edges, even with this foil and stuff, the edges on this card are fantastic. There's no dimples, there's no markings on the surface, there's nothing. The only thing, where is it? Front bottom left. So I think, was it this corner? Like, I'm talking, I don't even know. I don't even remember which corner it was that I thought had an issue. I think it was this one. And by issue, I mean, yeah, I can't even remember. I can't even see which corner it was. But I thought there was a corner that had the smallest chance to knock it down from a 10 to a 9.5. So this card, I said possibly the centering might be enough to knock it down to a 9.5, but I said this was, and I hate to call 10s because you call 10 and that's just the universe's chance to kick you in the junk and say, not today, bud. So all these cards I'm saying is a 9.5, but with a very easy chance to get a 10. The Team Timber, I'm going with a 9.5 just because of that centering and because of the low population at SGC and PSA and all those guys that, if this is a card that they don't see very often, it'd be pretty easy for them to misgauge what this centering should be and say, that's way off, it's a 9 or whatever. This card as well, I couldn't find a ton of graded copies, basically because it's a 1 of 10 Upper Deck insert. subset kind of thing. So it's not really a graded card. I just, when it showed up and the condition it was in, and actually like I really liked it. So I'm gonna kind of chase down the other 9 cards from this subset. If I can find them in the condition like this, I would. It's really nice. I just really like the way it's put together and the way it looks, and the foiling on this side and the little peekaboo cutout here and stuff. I was like, this is got kind of all the little things. I'm a big fan of die cuts, and it's obviously not a die cut, but anything that kind of sets a card apart, like that peekaboo hole, I really enjoy. So this is a 97 Skybox Premium base card, number 16. This like another, actually I think I saw this one. I think I got these from the same seller, and this is the card that I saw and I was like, wow, that is in really good shape. And then found this one as well. So I think these came from the same seller. I don't know if it'll focus on that. It's God, like, yeah, that's part of the net. That's not a white corner. Like, if you want to call that whitening, I don't know. That is pretty ridiculous. But this thing showed up, and like how big is that dot of white? I don't know. I gave this one a 9.5, a solid 9.5 though. Not an iffy. This is an absolute rock solid 9.5. It's not going to get a 10 because, oh God, just because of basically those tiny little issues on the front. I don't think it'll get a 10. And I can't even freaking call them issues. It's so minor like that. It's not even, I'm giving it a 9.5 anyways. But this is a card. I'm going to do a video sometime on this, on the importance of prepping cards before you send them in. I've learned with SGC, always wipe down cards. Any of these ones like you know, the mid 90s and stuff, when they have like a nice kind of gloss on them, wipe them down. If it's a chrome card, automatic, you wipe it down. Any kind of foil card or any kind of card with reflective surface, you wipe it down. If it's an older, you know what, even the older paper cards, straight up cardboard, especially if they're like vintage, you wipe them down. I wipe them down with, I'll take a Kleenex and not wet, just a damp little Kleenex, and just wipe them down. And you would be very surprised with the stuff that comes off of these cards. When I got this one, I looked it over, I looked at the surface and everything. Oh wait, isn't there premium base card? There is. That's the why it got a 9.5 somewhere up there. I'll never be able to see it through the plastic and stuff. Oh, is that it right there? There is the tiniest little dimple. I don't even think I'll get it to show up. I think that's right there. I think that is a tiny little kind of surface dimple that only comes up when you get the glare of the light. And I think that's why I said a 9.5 on this card. But when it showed up, I was looking this card over and I was like, holy cow, like this thing was put in a binder, you know, right out of the pack from somebody, and has sat there until they shipped it to me, because this thing was in incredibly good shape. But when it showed up, there was like these little white spots all over the gold foil here for the Skybox Premium. And I looked, and there was like a big white spot over like half of the circle in the J, and I was like, what the hell is all this junk? So I took a Kleenex and I just slowly, always from the inside out, wiping like that, never along the edge or from the inside in. You got to preserve the edges and the corners and stuff, always from the inside of the card out. And I just kind of wiped over it a few times like that, really carefully, and all of a sudden those little white dots, I don't know what it was. I don't know if the kid, you know, cracked open a can of Coke or something like that when he was looking at his cards, and it just little bubbles landed on there or what, but it just, all of a sudden they just slowly wiped off, and that gold foil just shined. And I was like, oh man. And I came down here and wiped over all these. Stuff came off. I don't know what was on there, but I usually try to wipe them down with a just slightly damp Kleenex, and then I have a microfiber, and I'll wash that microfiber out, you know, like once a month or whatever, and I'll take a microfiber and wipe them down, and you'll feel it as you're wiping it. You'll feel it. It'll be like, oh, there's like a bit of resistance, and you'll wipe and wipe and wipe, and all of a sudden the resistance just kind of goes away, and whatever, any little thing that was on there, even if it was like just from when they made the card and stuff, all of a sudden it just kind of disappears, and it's nice and it's smooth, and the microfiber will run over it, go over the surface of the card quite easily, and then it's clean. And I have noticed from when I didn't do that before to when I started doing it, like a good probably half a mark increase, because there will be stuff on there and stuff you don't even notice, like those white splotches, and I was like, oh, what the hell? And those probably were all over the rest of the card. They just don't really show up. But man, you send them in there and they do their high resolution scans and they do their black light or whatever, and crap like that shows up. So wipe down your cards, man. Number 4 is a 1993. Yeah, 93 Marvel. This is the Series 4 chase card. The Spider-Man Venom hologram from 93 Marvel Universe. This hologram was like the big chase for opening packs, and I think it was like 1 out of 160 packs. And then there's 4 versions of this. There is the rarest one, the hardest one to find, is a blue version of this, and it is you can't mistake it. It is a deep, beautiful blue colored hologram. And then the red, and then this one, it doesn't show up very well with indoor lighting, but you put it in like sit by a window and put it in the sun, it's ridiculous. It goes from like this light yellow gold, and you'll tilt it and it'll turn into like a green, and then you tilt it and it'll turn into like a deep red. This is the multicolor. And then the least rare is a green color. So this is the not one of the top 2. This is the number 3 rarest of the 4, and this is the multicolor. And it was like 1 out of 160 packs. And I actually found this at my local Salvation Army. They once in a while will put out card collections that people just like, cleaning out an attic, and they drop it off. And if you donate articles to Salvation Army, they give you these discount coupons. And I saved I'll do that just basically for the times when they have cards in, and then I'll get them for super cheap. And yeah, I got this one for ridiculously cheap. He prices a lot of his cards off of like eBay comps, so it was kind of and this was like, I don't know, like a year ago that I picked this up, but I got it for quite cheap with all these coupons. And the surface is really nice. There's at the very bottom, there's like this tiny itsy bitsy little speckling that is really hard to pick up just in the light when you get the angle the light the right way. It's like this tiny little bit of speckling at the bottom. So I don't know in the surface of the card. So I don't know what this thing will come back as, because the rest of it, there are no scratches, there's nothing, and it's nicely centered, and the corners are all good. That is just the way that they are cut. They have like a little bit of a rounding edge to them. They're not sharp. They are a rounded corner, and yeah, it's just a really, really nice copy. And I'm a kind of a sucker for this older Marvel stuff. I'd sent away some 1990 Marvel cards, and I have some 91 and some 92 that I might eventually look to send in. But yeah, when I saw this one, I was like, that card's coming home with me. And then when I looked it over, it was in such nice shape. I was like, yeah, sooner or later it's going in. And now it's sooner rather than later. So got it about a year ago, and finally has made the cut, and decided to send it in. So that's my 4 card. Where are we in? February 4 card Sgc submission. Hopefully tomorrow I will get my cards out of Post Office Prison and send those, or do a video on blind reveal on those ones. And yeah, so I'll talk to you later, guys. Peace.